Welcome back to Dragon Age Origins, everyone. We're in Orzammar and about to go talk with Dulan Frender because we just finished receiving evidence that Balin killed the previous king. So we agreed to do that. Now, it's quite remarkable that there actually was evidence and that the Carta had the evidence. We presumed that the Carta was probably going to try to use that as blackmail, but they clearly did not succeed. So instead we're using it.
I hear Jarvia will be troubling us no longer. I assume that's what you're here to tell me?
You bet. Also, I found these papers. Mercenaries were hired to kill Trian.
It's as we suspected, but still somehow chilling. To call so coldly for his brother's death. Balin is a monster. I'm glad you will help us make sure he does not rule. If you're ready, Lord Harrowmont will see you now.
Yep, lead the way.
His lordship is looking forward to meeting you.
Alright, straight in. Let's go talk with Harrowmont. This is Harrowmont. Our first time actually meeting him.
The word publicly is that you support my enemy. But Dulan promises you've sworn yourself to us. I am Lord Pyral Harrowmont, and I would hear this in your own words. Is it true?
So we could just be like, nah, but we're gonna go with, yeah, I'd rather see you on the throne than Balin.
I would have preferred that you come to me before slandering me to some of the highest placed families in Orzammar. But with this evidence of Balin's depravity, we should be able to work out a mutual arrangement, if not trust. If you truly wish to take my side, I ask that you do one more thing for me. Do you know anything of the Paragon Branca?
So we do, and we know all of these things. They are all in fact true. Let's just get to the point.
As a Paragon, she outranks even the Assembly. Were she to support me as king, this awful debate would be over.
And if she's dead?
Her entire house went with her. It would take a lot to kill so many. If not, bringing proof of her death, or a body to return to the stone, would still show that as an ancestor, it was my hand she guided to her remains.
Are you sure Branca would even support you?
It's hard to say what she would do. She wasn't exactly known for her predictability. She never seemed to like being a Paragon. She was devoted to her craft, never cared for politics. But one of the most brilliant minds Orzammar has seen. Branca hated Darkspawn with a passion. She would certainly be a valuable voice to support your treaty.
Fair enough. Sounds like Branca's the one we want on our side, not Harrowmont here. Alright, if we'll get you the throne though, we'll find Branca.
My men traced Branca's disappearance to an ancient crossroads known as Caradin's Cross. It is many miles below where we normally venture, but I can provide a map to lead you there. Just enter the deep roads through the mines. Thank you again, and may the ancestors guide your steps.
I'm a little bit curious to see, like, if he has anything else to say. Like, are you willing to say anything about yourself? Tell us what you do as ruler.
Should you find Branca,
Nope. Okay.
I trust you will both vote with your hearts.
How about you, Dulan?
His lordship
Nothing.
appreciates your support.
Alright, well, we did hear enough about them by talking with supporters throughout the city, so it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna leave now. Alright, so we're in the Diamond Quarter. We could go and talk with Balin's lackey in the Royal Palace, but instead we're just gonna take a break from Orzammar. We've been here for a really long time. So I think it's about time we go and take a break. We'll go somewhere else for a little bit and then we'll come back here after. Maybe talk with him.
I trust
Yeah,
Vala.
nothing.
No grappling friend.
Onwards. Oh, if I walk on this bridge, we should get party banter. Let's see.
You are very beautiful, Morrigan.
Tell me something I do not know.
But you are always dressed in such rags. It suits you, I suppose. A little tear here, a little rip there to show some skin. I understand.
You understand I lived in a forest, I hope?
Maybe we could get you in a nice dress one day. Silk. No, maybe velvet. Velvet is heavier, better to guard against the cold in Ferelden. Dark red velvet. Yes. With gold embroidery. It should be cut low in the front, of course. We don't want to hide your features.
Stop looking at my breasts like that. 'Tis most disturbing.
You don't think so? And if it's cut low in the front, we must put your hair up. Show off that lovely neck.
You are insane. I would sooner let Alistair dress me.
It'll be fun, I promise. We'll get some shoes too. Shoes! We could go shopping together.
That is great. I like that. So yeah, if we ever want to get party banter, all we have to do is reset this area. So if we like walk into the next area and then come back in here, we'll get more party banter every time we walk on that bridge. So if you ever want to spend some time and get like all the party banter you possibly can, this is the prime location to do so. I might consider doing that myself, but not yet. Once we're a little closer towards the end of the game, perhaps. So, if I remember correctly, we should be able to, in this hall, just teleport straight to the camp.
Do you have any Tales of the Wilds?
None of the sort you like. No princesses in tall towers or knights throwing themselves at whole armies.
That's not all I like.
Do you want tales of the chastened wilders who dwell in the marsh? Do you want to hear of the slow deaths they inflict on their enemies? Perhaps a tale of the poisonous creatures of the wilds that lay their eggs on your skin so their young may eat you alive when hatched? Or a tale of my mother's marsh cuisine? That, in my opinion, is the most terrifying of all my tales.
No, I don't want to hear about those things.
Then I have no tales for you.
So the reason that's relevant, well, I suppose you'll find out because we're going to go to the camp and talk with all of our party members anyway. I don't know if we'll actually get to talk with everyone in this episode because talking to people in camp can take a while. Now let's just go straight to the map. We should be able to... Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, okay, we can't do it yet. We have to go outside first. Once we're outside, we can do that, though. Alright, now we're outside, so go ahead to our map. Instead of walking all the way to the exit, we'll just go straight to the party camp. Saves us a little bit of time instead of having to walk all the way across that little field there. Do you hear that pig sound? That is Liliana's new pet. So we just got this in Orzammar for her. Schmoobles is what she named it. Very interesting. Let's see if we have anything to give to our emissary there. We have some new runes, I believe. Runes for the Templars. We have Journeyman and Novice runes, so I'm willing to give up all of those. We don't have any expert runes, so I'm not heartbroken at all in giving these away. Plus it clears up some bag space. There we go.
You are wise to invest in the effectiveness of your followers.
Okay. So we kind of know a little bit about Liliana because we have talked to her in the past. We've also talked with most of the other people here. We haven't talked with Zevran yet. So we're gonna go ahead and chat with him first.
Here I am.
Indeed. Care to answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
What does it take to become an assassin?
Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training, the sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is the desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field.
So it doesn't take any special skill.
I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler.
Well, it does sound like it could be useful.
See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we?
So no approval, no disapproval either. We can go ahead and talk
Here
to
I am.
some more. Can you teach others to be an assassin? We'll save that for later, maybe. Answer more questions.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
All of these are good. Tell me about Antiva.
Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
Don't you want to go back?
It's not really a matter of wanting to go back. I cannot go. At least not yet. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
Certainly not. Yeah, this is the only answer that really applies, so...
No? That is too bad. If you were, then surely you would spend as much time boasting about it as I do. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Is that some kind of euphemism?
It may as well be. But not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
Interesting. You sound like you've been away from home forever.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
This is difficult. I don't think we can ask all of these, so we'll just go with your home is still there, Zevran.
True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spared my life? I could not.
I like this one. Everyone makes mistakes.
Even Grey Wardens who spare the lives of assassins? Understood. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
So we could have got a fair bit more approval if we would have went with some of the more flirty options in that dialogue. Doesn't matter to us though, for now.
Here I am.
Yep, there you are. More questions.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
What's your opinion of the Dalish?
You ask me now? Now that you have helped werewolves slaughter an entire clan.
He has a point. You know, the werewolves deserved their revenge.
So they did. I'll not argue the point. Still, it seems rather ghoulish to ask me so casually for an opinion where their corpses grow cold.
Do you feel that way because they're elven?
You are elven yourself. Do you feel a profound kinship with all other elves, simply by virtue of their race?
No. No.
I would think not. I know little enough of the Dalish other than the fact that my mother was one, or so I was told. She had fallen in love with an elven woodcutter and accompanied him back to the city, leaving her clan behind for good. And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book.
Yeah, that is horrible.
Is it? It seemed normal enough a tale growing up. No different than the other elven boys in the whorehouse. I didn't know my mother either, of course. She died giving birth to me. My first victim, as it were. We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough existence, ignoring the occasional beating. Until eventually I was sold to the crows. I brought a good price, so I hear.
So he grew up a slave, in other words. It doesn't really seem overly cheerful, so we're not going to go with the cheerful option. What does this have to do with the Dalish?
My original point is that my mother's Dalish nature was always a point of fascination for me. Through all the years of my crow training, the one thing of my mother's that I possessed was a pair of gloves. They were of Dalish make, I knew that much, and beautiful. I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were not allowed such things. Eventually, they were discovered, and I never saw them again.
So, has there been no joy in your life?
Oh, there has been plenty. To tell the truth, it is because I expected nothing more. Still, even I eventually thought that it would be better for me if I ran off to join the famous Dalish when one of their clans drew near Antiva city. Naturally, the reality did not live up at all to the fantasies I had constructed as a boy, staring at those gloves. But such is life. Come, enough talk of the Dalish. Let us move on.
Oh, he actually approved. Interesting. Okay.
Here I am.
Yeah, more questions.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Why did you want to leave the crows exactly?
Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin after all is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
Well, he already kind of answered that in our previous conversation about the Dalish. He was a slave, so... what would you rather do?
Now that you mention it, I am not entirely certain. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
And that system works.
Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
So that actually reminds me of that previous dialogue option that he had there, where he was talking about it gets you men, women, whatever you fancy. Zevran here is one of the characters in this game that you can romance, whether you're a male character or a female character. So, interesting to keep that in mind. Eliana is actually the same way, so she'll romance you either way as well. And what is it that you fancy exactly?
I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful and things that are strong. I fancy things that are dangerous and exciting. Would you be offended if I said I fancied you?
I'm still actually undecided on this for Elia. I don't think it would offend her. Yeah, let's go ahead with not at all.
This is good to know. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
Won't the crows eventually find you?
Eventually can be a very, very long time, if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
+6. So he was talking about Dalish gloves. And I think we actually have some of that stuff. Yeah, Dalish gloves, right here. We don't have any Antivan leather boots, though. So, if we go to Zevran, we can give him the Dalish gloves.
Gloves? You're giving me gloves? What for?
They're Dalish, like your mother's.
Maker's breath. You're right. It is like my mother's. The leather was less thick and it had more embroidery, but these are very close and quite handsome.
So it actually was cheap because we got them off of a body. Or no, we didn't. It was in a crate, wasn't it? Yeah. Regardless, you're welcome.
Do I seem surprised? Perhaps I am. Still, I appreciate the fact that you even thought of me. No one has simply given me a gift before. Thank you.
Oh, he really liked that. And it made us level up. He liked it so much. That's kind of great. Okay. Since we're in the gift-giving mode, we're gonna give Zevran a couple other gifts. Nothing that I think will actually make a big difference. Actually, he can wear those, the gloves that we just gave him. So these, yeah. After we gave him the gifts of leather, of the Dalish gloves, it formed an item, and now he is wearing our gift, essentially. So we'll give him the gold
I shall
bar.
treasure it. Thank you.
He likes that. What else do we want to give him? Yeah, let's give him some steel bracers, maybe. Or do I want to give those to Sten? Probably Sten. Let's give him a bone.
How nice.
And that's all. Now, I believe I mentioned it before, but certain gifts, if you give them to the correct character, it will give you bonuses to the amount that it improves their admiration towards you. I don't really care for that though, so that's why I haven't been doing it. I'll only use it for specific items that I think would be interesting. So like those gloves, because I know full well that it'll actually create dialogue if you give it to him. That's why we gave it to him. There are certain items like that for all of the characters, and you've seen a few of them already. Like we gave that locket to Alistair, the book to Morrigan before. We also gave Leliana, what was it? That flower. So let's talk with Zevran.
I've a question, if I may.
Uh-oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I swore an oath to serve you, yes? And I understand the quest you're on, and this is all very fine and well. My question pertains to what you intend to do with me once this business is over with, as a point of curiosity.
So, that's a particularly promiscuous option that we can go with after I ravish you. We're gonna go with this one though. Why would I need to do anything with you?
Oh, I imply nothing specific, of course. One simply assumes that once your Grey Warden business is finished, you would have no need of an assassin to follow you about. Am I wrong?
I don't imagine that he would take kindly to being called a servant after growing up in slavery. But could be wrong. I'm not gonna go with that regardless. I'm tempted to go with I'll not hold you to any oath, leave whenever you like, but I don't want to tempt him to just up and leave right now either, so I could always use a friend.
Oh, not more than friends?
Oh, we'll have to see, won't we?
Indeed we shall. It is good to know what my options might be, but that is for another time. For now, we have much to do, yes?
Alright, so he was laying it on heavy there. We could have definitely got a lot more approval if we went hard into the flirting options. Chose not to. No, we were actually going to talk to him about some specific personal questions.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Oh, so straight up, join me in the tent. Interesting. So this is presuming that we have a romance going with Zevran. I guess after that conversation, it's sort of implied. Let's go ahead with... You must have quite a history with women, I mean.
This could be a sensitive topic, my dear lady. Are you sure you wish to voyage there?
That many, I take it.
As you wish. Let me start by saying that my history is varied, indeed. It has also not been restricted to women. Does that offend you?
Should it?
Perhaps. That is entirely up to you. I grew up amongst whores, my dear. Sex is best when done well, and truly that is my only rule. Do I prefer women? Yes, I believe I do. But you must understand that a certain open-mindedness is sought by the Crows in their recruits, for very good reasons.
So despite him saying that, you can romance him as the male character, so... Don't let that get your hopes down if you want to romance him as a male character. What reasons are those?
I have had to do many things in my work as an assassin, some pleasant and many not so. The Crows recruit elven assassins because we are considered beautiful by humans. I'm sure you can imagine the rest. I cannot change my past, obviously. I regret far more than the men and women I have been with, and if that is more than you can bear, well, then it is good we know now, yes?
So it would actually be really interesting to see him talk with Leliana, particularly with her views on Orlais. So you'll see what I mean when we talk to Leliana some more, but we'll do that next time. We're just going to finish up with Zevran here, and then I'll end the episode. Yeah, it doesn't bother me, Zevran.
You're a better person than most, I suspect. Enough talk of the past. It is what lies ahead that is important, no?
It's funny that you call Elia a better person than most after all the killing we've done, including killing of innocents. Actually, I'll just wait to do... actually, no, I'm glad I clicked on that by accident. Well, I didn't do it by accident, but regardless, this is where we can actually select another specialization. Since we have them all unlocked. Shapeshifter, you get that from Morgan. This you get from Wynn, but we don't have Wynn, we killed Wynn. This, it was from that phylactery in the forest when we were there. I would have mentioned it when we went past that area. And then Blood Mage, that was from the demon that we made a deal with when we were trying to rescue the people of Redcliffe. So I'm actually thinking either Arcane Warrior or Spirit Healer. Now, Spirit Healer is not very compatible with Blood Mage. However, it does give you health regeneration during combat, which is particularly good for a Blood Mage, as is the extra 2 magic. Now, if I was going to do this, that is why I would get it. That and it would be potentially useful if I ever decided to not go with Morgan in my party and be the healer of the party for one combat or 2. The other option is go with Arcane Warrior. And if I do Arcane Warrior, I can actually use my magic modifier to wear armor, which means I would basically be able to wear full plate and get similar bonuses with the plate armor that warriors get. So any of the gear that Alistair and Sten are wearing, I'd be able to equip to Elia. Now, I have no interest in doing that for this run through, so I'm actually going to go with Spirit Healer. But normally, I'd probably go with Arcane Warrior. It's just that this time I feel like going with Spirit Healer. And we'll go with more Constitution to increase the blood magic damage a bit. Willpower would probably be useful as well, but it doesn't matter as much. Next, Blood Wound is particularly good. I like that, so we'll go with that. Although, the group heal might be a good idea. Especially if we decide to go fight something right away. Tough call. Kinda want to do both of those. I don't want to do both at the same time. Oh. These healing spells I can't actually use when I'm in blood magic form. I don't think I can anyway. Group heal, I think, would be better of the 2 options, regardless. So we'll go with that. The reason I'm going with that is because when we go and confront Flemeth, we're not supposed to bring Morgan with us. And without Morgan, we'll need a healer. So I'll have the group heal here, right beside my force field, and then we can use those two. During that fight. Okay. I don't want to talk with anyone else for now, just because I think that it would just waste time for the most part. I guess I could talk with the dog a little bit, but because that wouldn't take too long. Maybe one time. Pet Ravager. Okay, he didn't actually have any new dialogue options. I thought he might have new interactions, like say with Zevran or someone else in the camp, but he didn't. So we're gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!